All right, coming to you from the metaverse. I'm here with Ben, the CTO of Blockade Games Inc., as well as the co-founder of CyberBrokers. Ben, I'm excited to share my enthusiasm for all of the incredible projects that you're a part of. But before I start being a fanboy, maybe you could introduce yourself and let people in the NFT.NYC community know a bit about what you do today and kind of what got you here.
Awesome. Ian, great to see you again. We've known each other since the beginning of NFT.NYC 2019. So it's great to chat with you again over the years. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. Most of you probably don't know who I am, but you might have heard some of the things I worked on. I originally started Blockade Games with Coin Artist and Diego Rodriguez in 2018. We made Plasma Bears, we make Neon District, made a bunch of other small projects along the way. I am the CTO for Blockade Games. We're ramping up a pretty big release for Neon District over the next few months, so you'll see a bit more about that pretty soon. And I'm also the co-founder alongside Josie Bellini and Chris Chapman of CyberBrokers. And Josie and I started that project 2 years ago, and it took quite a bit of time, quite a bit of research to launch it as a fully on-chain SVG project. Hopefully you see a lot of that at NFT.NYC. And now I'm working with the CyberBrokers team to build out some pretty cool stuff, and you'll see that soon as well.
So I'm going to put this out there. I say 78 years from now, when they come out with the most important executives and projects for the 22nd, 21st century? I think the projects you've worked on and you yourself will be listed. There's a lot of things about you that are really unique. One, the number of projects that you've done that have been successful, that have continued to push forward, your resilience in the midst of all the crazy things that have happened the last several years, and your reputation. When people talk about you and you're not around, it is very honorable. And I think that your impact in the industry is not even felt compared to what will happen over time. So a lot of people celebrate the fact that you chose Web3 and Web3 chose you. So that's my perspective of you. I could say a lot more, but I have an equally honorable perspective of two of your partners, Coin Artist at Blockade Games, Marguerite, as well as Josie Bellini, and of course, Chris and Diego. But I want to talk about those two gals for just a moment. You know, you have a very unique ability to where you are the partner with Coin Artist in the Blockade game of development of Plasma Bears and Neon District, but also with Josie in the development of CyberBrokers. Can you share a bit with us about what it's like to work with these two women? You know, they're many people's favorite, crypto artists that a lot of people love what they're doing, are investing in their projects and behind them. And maybe you could share a bit of your insights in working with the two of them.
Sure. First, thank you. Those are some of the highest accolades I've ever received. So thank you. And I hope that actually comes to fruition, but it wouldn't be possible. It's not a solo venture, right? Like it wouldn't have been possible without Marguerite, without Coin Artist at all. She's the reason I fell into the space in the first place. She's the reason that the company Blockade exists. She's, been the thread that, she looped Josie into an event in Paris, and that's where I got to meet Josie and Andrew for the first time. It's been like a domino effect of extremely fortunate and lucky events, and just following the passion that we've all had to build something and to not, like, it seems a little strange, money doesn't drive things for us. And I know that's, very different for, I think, a lot of people in the crypto space and the NFT space. It's about a way of becoming financially free. And, there's different definitions of what that means for people. And for us, it's the ability to let people be able to have a slice of the metaverse in the future and being able to be a part of this new economy. And whether that's through free-to-play gaming or through bringing people in through, future projects, there's a lot of ways that we want to share our passion for this, as well as the technical interest that we have. Without rambling too much, the original question was about what is it like to work with both Coin Artist and Josie. And the two of them are absolutely phenomenal, just inspirational beyond bound or limit. I can't stress enough. I mean, Josie works, God, I don't think she sleeps. I don't know how she does it, but she's always on the ball. She's thinking of new ideas. She's got so much in the pipeline. It's just so fun to work with her. And then Marguerite, same thing. Like for the very first year of the company, I swear Marguerite never slept an inch, like not even a little bit. Like the passion they have for what they do and what they want to bring into the world and the drive that they have is unmatched. And beyond that, the insights that they bring, the perspectives they have from their own stories, their own lives, lets us view and come at the Web3 problems and present solutions that people don't often think about or talk about or value. And, that's, I bring technical chops to the table. I help make their ideas, become real, tangible things that people can interact with or collect. But the dreams, the ideas, it all comes down to those two.
Well, I think that they certainly have used you as a sounding board, and their dreams and ideas wouldn't be possible if you didn't step in as their CTO. So certainly there's a wonderful interdependency. Let's talk CyberBrokers for a moment. Before I say anything, can you just explain to people in the NFT.NYC community that may not be really familiar with what CyberBrokers is doing today and has done for the last season? Just give kind of an overview of what is CyberBrokers from a big 50,000 foot view.
Okay. It's hard for me to consolidate it all because the ideas always like it changed. Like, what is the mission? Where are we going? It all follows a common thread. So the original idea for CyberBrokers was we never intended it to be a profile picture collection. PFPs were not a thing back then. It was derived from the inspiration of wanting to build something that was permanent and lasting on Ethereum, that was beautifully artistically designed, and it gave everybody the chance to own a piece of Josie Bellini's work. That was the intent of CyberBrokers. It was to make something that would last forever, for far beyond anything that we've imagined. And people have taken it on to make it their identities on social media. They've taken it to new heights that I didn't even think people were going to even try. They've made like music videos with the CyberBrokers singing. They've made applications that pull the data right from on-chain, and like you can render your brokers in different ways and you can play with layers. It's amazing. I love what people have done. People have made 3D models of their brokers and all of the different things. And I that doesn't even begin to touch on the quest and just the imaginative. Like we have a lot of writers that are coming together and helping to craft and create the story. And then the entire community as a whole decides, what path do we want to take? Where does the mission of CyberBrokers go? It's a massive MMO, the whole thing. And it's a non-traditional one because, it plays like an ARG, but there is no like set path. We're not all branches lead back to the same ending. No, it all diverges. So with CyberBrokers, it's very much the loosely formed goal of trying to create a metaverse native IP, a brand, something that people can relate to, that people want to be a part of. And, with that, there's going to be a whole lot of different projects that spin up from that, as well as, eventually we'll be talking about Mirrorware, which some people have heard about, but we haven't said very much about. All of these things will come together to kind of make a cohesive whole and a cohesive story. So we're very much in the early stages of where this is going.
So let me share my perspective as a part of the community. I had been looking forward to CyberBrokers for at least a year, if not longer. As soon as Josie had mentioned it and it started to bubble what was maybe in the works, once there was some solidity around it in the Discord community, I knew for sure. I'm like, okay, 100%, I'm all in on CyberBrokers. And so my experience has been acquiring 10 CyberBrokers, which I'm thankful for, and then holding those and keeping those and jumping into the Discord. So some things that really stand about the community. there's not much talk about floor price. There's not much talk about today and this week and this month, unless it's around a quest. Most of the focus is on the community enjoying what has been created and dreaming about what could be, both with the Exavis team and with one another, and then getting behind what the team is doing, like the quest. We just finished the second quest, and then also coming around other new ideas and kind of encouraging one another with creating things. So as far as the community goes, I found it to be a really healthy community that has a critical perspective of the project and are honest about it, but are very optimistic and honorable about kind of where things are at, and have enjoyed the decisions that the team has made. The team just airdropped, a ton of different things from the quest to the holders of CyberBrokers. Those that participated got greater airdrops than those that just were holding CyberBrokers. And it's beyond just the asset that is acquired or the community that is you're partaking in. It's the application and the utility of all the things that people will be able to do over time. So of all the projects that I've seen, I've been most impressed with the leadership decisions. You mentioned Josie being tireless and just constantly being there. Some of the things that stand out to me is like she'll be in Discord in the midst of a really intense moment, and she's actually responding to people like super kind and loving and thoughtful and encouraging. And then other times like, clear and articulate and assertive. And one thing is she doesn't overpromise. So consistently over and over again, just not having expectations that can't be met and surpassed. And I think that's made for a wonderful experience for people. Would you say that many people share my perspective that are part of the community? Or have you heard other responses from people that you think should be shared in this moment that we're talking?
I think the way you feel, I think it's the way that we've really wanted people to feel. We did not make CyberBrokers to be a financial instrument. The floor price should not be the important thing. The value should be derived from what people have created and what they're bringing to the table, as well as, the whole ethos and, behind the IP and the whole, every future project that comes down the pipeline, like it all forms a cohesive whole. So I'm glad that people are thinking about the lore, the possibilities, the tech, through that finding, threads to other areas of where their interests, intersect with CyberBrokers, because, everybody follows their own path in life, and they all follow their own path in Web3. We are not the end. We're not the beginning either. We want to be a big part of everybody's celebrations and all of this, and we want to push the space forward. We want to be an example of what people should do and what they should expect, and the sort of high caliber that you really want in the space. So we're really thankful that that's what, those are the people who have chosen to join us and stick it out. Those are the people that we love having in the community. I'm extremely blown away by the quality of the community that we have and the intensity by which they stick by us and the creativity that they bring to the table. Like I can't express enough how thankful I am for that, because we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for that community. So yes, I do think that most of the community would agree with what you're saying, and I'm extremely thankful for that.
So besides you and Josie, there's two other partners. I'd love for you just to share with folks about Chris and the other artists that may not know their role and involvement. And then maybe you could share a bit. I know that you're hiring and you've been building up a team, and maybe you could tell folks who you're looking for. So that way people that might be watching our conversation, by the way, if you're watching, thank you for your attention. Or maybe they know somebody that would be a great fit for the team. So could you share about the other two partners and folks that you're looking for to join the team?
Absolutely. The team is growing. So we have more than just, the team that founded the company. So Chris Chapman, I have to say, is probably one of my best friends in the space. He and I have worked together since Plasma Bears, late 2018. He and I have degenerately created so many different projects and came up with so many different ideas. And there are times when he'll just send me a message like, hey, I think we should do this, but we should do it right now. I'm like, really? So then we'll just riff out a project in a few days. It's awesome. I love working with Chris. He is an absolute rock star. Osamot, Josie can definitely speak a lot more to Osamot, but he has been an absolutely stellar artist. Like if anybody looks up his other work, it is like the highest quality art that I've seen, especially so fitting for the SVG style that CyberBrokers is and what is to come. So they're fantastic. We have other team members. We have Brooke, who's been handling all of the operationals, in the company and has been an absolute rock star as well. We have Brett, who just joined the team a few weeks ago, and Brett is I'll let him eventually talk about himself. He is an absolute rock star as well, and has been a friend and a community member over at Blockade and Neon District since 2018.
So why don't we transition to Blockade Games, and maybe you can let folks know a bit about the team. You mentioned, of course, coin artists, Marguerite, as well as Diego, but the team's larger than that. And, there's an established community that has already been engaging with Plasma Bears and Neon District. And so maybe you could give a bit of context for the leadership that surrounds you and coin artists at Blockade Games.
Absolutely. The team has been rock solid for years. We've had rough times when COVID hit, we had to wind down a lot, and it became a very bootstrapped project. And thankfully, we were able to make an MVP that people liked, and then that helped us to survive and get funding. So, and then of course, Plasma Bears, which we discovered during the whole historical NFT rush. So Blockade is now in a pretty good position of strength. The best it's been. So we have a team of, I think, like 20 strong now, and numerous other contractors as well. Marguerite and myself and Diego Rodriguez, who was the other co-founder, he's cranking away at a lot of really neat new concept pieces for art that people are going to start to see in the District over the next 2 to 4 months, pretty soon actually. And we have Kyle, maybe, I don't know if he wants me to say his full name, but he has been our art director since 2018. He was a huge part of Plasma Bears. He is a huge part of Neon District. You'll hopefully hear more about him as well. He's an absolute rock star. And then we just brought on a new creative director, Garrett Schultz, also known as Random Ghost. He is probably has some of the best taste in cyberpunk and cyberpunk music as well of anybody I've ever met. He is absolutely crushing it. Just came on 2 months ago. So we have, and then the development team. I'll gush about the development team when we have a little more time, but I'm so thankful for the team that we have. They have been absolutely destroying everything I've been putting in their path. I'm super excited because Neon District is ramping up for a new version. Well, internally we call it version 2, really. It's the whole reskin of everything, and then some new features that are coming as well, and ramping up into a pretty big cadence over the next few months. So really excited to share that with everyone.
Well, I'm so grateful you jumped on. We're really happy to have you be one of the speakers again at NFT.NYC. People always enjoy the things that you share. This year, we'll likely have you share on the topic of every block chain game is an MMO. Can you speak to that for a moment? Why is every blockchain game an MMO? Or if people don't think it is now, why will it become so as time goes on?
Firstly, I absolutely stole this from Chris Chapman. This is, he actually gave a talk of a very similar title, maybe the exact same title 3 years ago in Hong Kong. And if anyone, is interested, go check it out. It's a fantastic talk. I definitely want to keep exploring that idea because it's completely true. People, one mistake that blockchain game developers make is trying to bring a single player game or a constrained multiplayer game into the Web3 environment, and the very nature of the fact that in almost all of these cases, your assets or your characters or something that is fundamental to you playing the game, like something that has some element of power or choice to it, is a non-fungible token. And by simply making that a tradable asset, even in a single player game, you've now created an entire multiplayer dynamic around it. You've created an MMO and that people are going to be talking about it. People are going to be, strategizing about it. They're going to be trading. They're going to be building other experiences around it, which is the big thing. So definitely going to touch on a lot of these different topics in just a few weeks.
And finally, I want to be sensitive on time. I could just hold you up for hours if you'd let me. But let's wrap the conversation on this. What can people in these communities, I think there's a lot of energy around the CyberBrokers community for NFT.NYC, anything they can expect at NFT.NYC, June 20th through the 23rd? Any announcements that have been made, or maybe people should be expecting to be made in terms of folks gathering together and connecting IRL?
Nothing that I can say now, but I will say the team will be there.
Well, everybody's gonna be excited to connect with the team. I'll be excited to see you and the rest of everyone there in New York. And so I look forward to that. Thanks again, Ben, for jumping on here with me and connecting and letting the community know a bit more about the stuff that you're working on.
Yep. Thank you, Ian, so much. And I'll